Pronouns. The use of different pronouns has caused a lot of controversy over the last few years that I have noticed, and I thought today I would do a video talking about the importance of pronouns from not my point of view but the point of view of people who identify as being within the transgender community. So yeah, grab a cup of tea, sit down and let's have a chat. So first of all, the definition of transgender is transgender, denoting or relating to a person whose self-identity does not conform unambiguously to the conventional notions of male or female gender. So the way I like to look at it is that gender and sex are two different things. Sex is the genitals you are born with, so you either have the female anatomy or the male anatomy. However, gender is a spectrum. You can have any form of gender that you feel like you identify with. So that can be a cis female, or you could be a trans guy, or you could be non-binary or genderqueer. I identify as a cis female, which means that I identify with the gender I was born with. So I was born a female and identify as a female, and my pronouns are she and her. So you might be wondering, what are pronouns? Now, I looked up the dictionary definition of pronouns and it was kind of irrelevant to this situation. The way that I see pronouns is pinning a gender to something. So for example, if I were to drink my tea, someone could say, oh, she's drinking her cup of tea, because she refers to me. And if I were to see someone walking down the road, I'd be like, oh, he's walking down the road. Now the he and the she, that's the pronoun. However, some people don't just identify with the he and the she pronouns. Quite a lot of people also identify with they and them pronouns. This is generally when people don't identify with either gender or feel like they're gender fluid or are non-binary or genderqueer. And there'll be more that I'm not talking about, so I'm really sorry if I've left you out. But this is just a surface level knowledge that I had being a cis woman. So yeah, as I said, I don't have much knowledge of myself going through any of this. I put a tweet out asking if some people would like to answer some questions about their gender and what pronouns mean to them. I spoke to 5 or 6 people and got responses from them, and so I thought it would be better than me trying to say what I thought about it, but actually get an experienced view from people who have gone through it. So the first question I asked was, what gender and what pronouns do you identify with? I've got the answers on my phone, so if you see me looking at it, that's what I'm doing. I describe myself as agender masculine, so I have no gender but feel more masculine within myself than feminine. I am a trans guy, I use he/him pronouns. I identify as non-binary, genderqueer, and I use they/them pronouns. Non-binary, I go by they, them mostly, but he and him online. And the last person I spoke to said, I am non-binary, so I prefer he or they pronouns, but I usually tell people I'm male because it makes things easier to explain. So as you can see, the most people I talk to identified as non-binary or genderqueer, with one trans guy in there. So I asked people what pronouns meant to them, and I had varying responses, but the biggest thing was that it was a sense of identity and that it validated them and it made them feel confident, and when they didn't have their correct pronouns used, it made them feel anxious and upset and hurt and not important and like they didn't deserve respect. So I think it's so important that we're using people's pronouns, because a simple change of a letter or a couple of letters can mean that people feel so much better in themselves, and I think it's just basic human respect to call people what they want to be called. If someone comes up to you as a cis person and starts calling you by the wrong pronoun, so for example if someone came up to me and started calling me he, I'd be confused and probably quite offended. So why would it be any different to someone who's changed their pronouns? So for example, they and them, it might take some getting used to, but you've got to give it an effort because it's basic common courtesy. And I get that it is really difficult at first, and I've made many mistakes in my life calling people the wrong pronouns, but the important thing is really to correct yourself and acknowledge that you've made the mistake. Don't back down, don't kind of get all defensive either, because just you've made a mistake, it'll happen all the time, but the more you try, the more they feel validated and respected. The last question I asked was, how do people react when you ask them to use your correct pronouns? Everyone gave pretty similar responses to this. So most people said that their close friends and people around their age have been good and supportive and have tried their best, and they'll make mistakes, but they'll try their best to change it up and correct themselves. However, they also found that people of older generations and quite often parents have been less accepting, and it's been much harder for them to get by. So, as I was saying earlier about respect and how it makes them feel, if someone has asked you to call them by a different gender or a different name or a different pronoun, please try your best to respect it. We all know that it's hard to kind of remember it all the time if you've known someone for a while, but at the same time, if you care about them, it's really important to use their correct pronouns. I hope you found this video interesting and maybe a bit educational if you didn't know stuff already. Please leave me your experiences down below, so if you've had any experiences with people coming out to you or you coming out to others and how people have reacted in your lives to these different situations, let me know what your pronouns are down in the comments so that I can use the correct ones when I'm replying to you. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like and maybe share it around, because I feel like more people need to be educated on this topic. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, as I'll be making more videos like this all the time, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye guys!